Hi friends, welcome to yoga. This is Morgan at splendid.yoga. Today we're going to do a yin sequence, a very gentle sequence for your heart, your upper back, your anahata chakra. So we'll start in child's pose. Grab a blanket or a towel or something soft and padded and fold it up so it's got an inch or two of thickness and place that underneath your knees. For this variation today, we'll have your knees together and your toes touching with those knees lifted up a little bit. And then lay yourself down over your knees in that kneeling position with your hands back by your feet. So if it feels like your head is like reaching towards the ground, grab another blanket or unfold the blanket a bit that's underneath your knees and give yourself a bit of a pillow. We really want to encourage a round spine here, like a cat back spine. That's what the lift of the knees is doing, really encouraging that entire back spine to open up. Breathe into the back of your heart. Imagine where your lungs are actually located anatomically, underneath your ribs, up towards the top. Imagine that left lung, every time it inhales, those three lobes of the lung hugging around your heart. And every time you exhale, that whoosh of release. And that's it. That's all you have to do is just feel that inhale as it comes in without controlling it, without trying to breathe any more or any less than just what your body needs. It knows just what you need. And noticing how your body feels when you bring in new molecules, when you release molecules. And your heartbeat is right there with you the whole time, propelled forward by your breath. That truly miraculous electrical current, literal lightning, sparking the rhythm of your life behind the protective cage of your ribs. Let it beat. Notice the beat. It changes. It's not steady like a metronome. It's dynamic. It's improv. Your heartbeat is jazz. We'll have about another minute here, just to breathe. Take a deep inhale all the way from the base of your spine up through the base of your skull. Exhale everything out. Slide your arms in front of you and slide forward into Anahatasana, a yin pose, the yin version. All right, so if you've got that support underneath your chest, take it with you. Just scooch it on along forward with you. Slide your head forward until your hips are over your knees. So it's tabletop from your hips down. It's child's pose from the hips up. Very flexible yogis will comfortably get their foreheads to the ground. Yogis with some opportunities for some flexibility are going to need to set the blanket underneath your forehead or underneath your chest. You could use blocks too. Blocks are really nice here underneath your sternum to take some of the weight off of your neck. So you want to find a position that feels good, opening, but good, right? So no cricks in the neck, not too much pressure in the knees. Get something padded under there if you need it. It's worth it. This is called Anahatasana. This is the pose for the heart. You're grounding your heart's energy. So that's why I like to have your heart connected to something, whether it touches the ground, whether it touches a bolster. You want to ground that energy. Just like when there's a live wire flinging around, it needs to be attached to something. It needs to channel that energy somewhere, or else it goes crazy. It can hurt something. So too is your heart. You have to take this time to ground your heart's energy. It is so powerful. And if you don't ground it, if you don't connect it to something, you'll go crazy. You'll hurt somebody. You'll hurt yourself. So the concept of grounding, you can visualize it like a waterfall that goes straight through between your shoulder blades, straight through your sternum down towards the earth. An energetic waterfall. It can be as warm or as cool as you like. The ocean, it can be whatever color you need it to be. I like a green. That's the color of the heart chakra. It can be as wide. It can take up as much space as you need it to be. It could be as thin as a pinprick. And imagine it pleasantly rushing through your heart space down towards the earth, through the earth, to the core of the earth. Oh, she can take it. Allow yourself to be cleansed. Allow yourself to ground any energy that hasn't been serving you. Any energy that's felt like a live wire. Any energy that's felt like it might hurt you. About one more minute. Melt down a little heavier behind your heart. You'll slide forward onto your belly. We'll take the Sphinx pose. So it's kind of the same shape in your upper body, but you send your legs straight behind you and your hips to the ground. Probably your belly is on the ground as well. If you had that blanket or bolster underneath you, you could scooch it forward and set it underneath your high ribs. That can provide a really nice soft support for the ribs. And set up your elbows so they're underneath your shoulders, if not a little more forward. You don't want them behind too much like a T-Rex arm, too crunchy. So you're looking for something that feels like a good stretch for the front of your spine, for the front of your chest, but not too much. I don't want any cricks in your low back. There's no use compromising one body part for another. You can send your legs out wide to help with anything that's going on in the low back. Or just scoot your arms forward more. And if you don't feel anything, if your spine is pretty open, you can take the seal variation. You turn your fingers out towards the corners of your mat and straighten your arms. Prop yourself up. It's like a cobra, but really passive. So legs flop, relax your butt, relax your glutes. You can tilt your head back in either the Sphinx or the seal variation if that feels good. Or you could drop your chin to your chest and really let your shoulders slump together. We have a few minutes here, so you can take both variations just as long as it feels good. Moving not when it gets uncomfortable, but when it stops serving you. So often the heart is associated with other people. With attachment issues, we refer to the broken heart. When we lose something, we lose someone. But you don't really get attached to a person. You get attached to the experience that you have with them. The way to release your attachment to people who aren't serving you, to thoughts that cycle, is to accept that life is always changing, that there is no experience you can have that you can hold on to. Right? The experience is there like an era, and then it's over like an era. The moment is there, the moment is over. The breath is there, the breath is over. And that is the practice, not to find the way you want to live life, that routine, and then live that way over and over again. Although certainly discipline is a big part of self-mastery. The discipline here is in noticing where you want to hold on, where you want to experience things again and again, where you want some person to be present around you again and again. And you accept that what you have right now, whether that person is there with you or not, whether that experience is happening right now or not, the experience you're having right now is just as important as that experience, as that person. This experience is just as valid. It is the same as your first kiss, as the first time you saw your lover, as your first breakup, as the first time you realized your parents were human. This experience is just as important as all those other experiences, which is to say, it's already over. It's not important at all. It's done. Have gratitude for this new moment. Lay yourself onto your belly. Stack your palms on top of each other. Rest your forehead on your hands. Touch your big toes together. If you still had the support underneath your ribs, you'll be propped up a little bit here. That can feel really nice. For some of us, especially those of us who have a lot of heart energy, it might be way too much. You might need to get that out from underneath you. You might need to connect yourself just flat on the ground. If you'd like more, you could take a block, something harder, place that underneath your sternum and drape yourself over that block. Now, this one's intense, right? We're not used to putting pressure on this space. It's a very sensitive, gentle space. So if you try this variation, don't feel like you have to hold it the whole time. Just kind of experience it and then allow yourself a minute or two to let that experience go. Get rid of the block, lay yourself flat on the ground or on something softer. And breathe into the back of your heart. And breathe into this brand new breath, this brand new experience, just as important as any other. We skip so many of them. We skip so many of our breaths. So many of them just pass us right by. So many people just pass us right by. So many opportunities just pass us right by. There's an infinite number of things you could do and see and feel in this world, and that's why you have to have the discipline to do and see and feel what serves your purpose. Your heart knows. Your heart knows what will serve your purpose. That's why we ground the energy to get rid of that attachment to the past, those desires for the future. We ground all of that here, now. We acknowledge that that's valid. It's a valid human experience, but it's not helpful. And we come back to this present moment knowing that out of all the infinite number of things you could be doing with your time, you are doing the correct thing right now. You are right where you need to be. Every inhale, you are right where you need to be, bringing in just the chemicals you need to survive. Every exhale, you are right where you need to be, letting go of just what you don't need. This inhale, you're right where you need to be, and it's so different. Things have changed so much. In this exhale, once again, things are so different. Feel it. Feel what's different. Roll onto your back from here. We'll close with a traditional Savasana. You can have your arms and legs straight out, or you could set your feet underneath your knees, mat distance apart. Rest your knees together. Breathe. Breathe just what you need. Bring it in. Breathe just what you need. Let it go. And this is where I'll leave you, friends. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your hearts. Namaste.